WWE wrestlers who ruined a career in one small mistake. Let's watch.
WWE wrestlers' careers ended in one single move. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Number 10, Big E. It's been 2 years since Big E suffered a broken neck on SmackDown, and the more time that passes, the less likely it is that Big E competes in WWE ever again. The neck injury took place on March 11th, 2022 edition of SmackDown, as New Day faced off against the duo of Sheamus and Ridge Holland, and during the match, Big E would be hit with an overhead suplex on the outside of the ring. This resulted in Big E landing right on his neck and fracturing his C1 and C6 vertebrae. Over the past year, Big E has transitioned into a pre-show panelist for WWE, which may be a sign that Big E has called it a day on his in-ring ventures. Number 9, Corey Graves. When it was revealed in 2014 that Corey Graves had retired, fans were stunned. Nobody even knew that Graves was injured, and it later surfaced that Graves suffered a serious concussion that left him no choice but to call it a day. It's believed that the dastardly concussion was suffered in an NXT TV match against Sami Zayn. In that match, Graves took a crossbody, yet he landed incredibly awkwardly, and it looked like he failed to tuck his chin. Graves would soon find himself in the role of a commentator, and this has been a role which he has truly shined in. It was also revealed in 2022 that Graves has been medically cleared, but he has yet to make his dramatic return to the squared circle, if he ever does. Number 8, Diamond Dallas Page. It's well documented that Diamond Dallas...
I wonder why though, why he decided to just stay on commentary. Maybe that one injury kind of just like scared him, and he doesn't want to like potentially suffer another injury and it be worse than that. Maybe he's just comfortable now where he is. I could see that though, you know, because you have a family, you know what I'm saying? So
Dallas Page's WWE
stint injuries
between
are
2001
crazy.
to 2002 wasn't exactly great, yet it ended in the worst way imaginable as DDP was forced to retire. The injury took place in 2002 when DDP was facing Hardcore Holly in a match on SmackDown. During the bout, there was a high-impact superplex which was supposed to take place, however the landing of it was off, and this heavily impacted DDP's neck. In addressing this match on Hannibal TV, DDP said, "I felt like I was paralyzed for an instant." This would be DDP's final ever match as a full-time wrestler, and although he would make numerous appearances in TNA and WWE years later, DDP could never commit to another full-time run due to his neck issues. Number 7, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Unlike most of the names on this list, despite suffering a career-ending injury, Stone Cold Steve Austin continued to wrestle. The injury in question took place at the '97 SummerSlam pay-per-view, and one of the top matches on the card was Owen Hart taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin for the Intercontinental Championship. Backstage before the match, Owen wanted to use a sit-out piledriver move on Austin, however Austin insisted that Hart use the traditional piledriver, which involves the wrestler going to their knees. Hart proceeded to hit Austin with the sit-out version of the move,
low his neck
and
or
shattered
head
Austin's
is.
neck. Instead of taking an extended leave of absence to heal, Austin put off neck surgery until 1999, and then he'd be forced to call it a day in 2003. The Texas Rattlesnake would eventually return to the ring in 2022 for one final match with Kevin Owens. Yet due to his neck, it's incredibly unlikely that another featured run from one of WWE's greatest names ever comes to fruition. Number 6,
his head was below his knees.
Before Paige aka Saraya went on to be medically cleared in AEW, she suffered a career-ending injury in 2017. During a 6-woman tag match at a live event, Paige would be hit with a kick to the back from Sasha Banks, and Paige suffered an immediate injury, falling to the ground and grabbing a neck in the process. The match would be stopped, and unfortunately Paige would never wrestle in WWE again. Paige would reveal in a 2018 interview with Give Me Sport that she has no bad feelings towards Banks.
I would.
Nothing was ever Sasha's fault. She got so much backlash, and even in the ring when we were there, people are chanting Sasha sucks, and it really upset me to hear that because it wasn't her fault. The thing is with me, right, that move where she kicks me in the back, I had taken that so many times previously that I was so stubborn, and I thought I can still do these kind of things, and I thought my neck was just as strong as it was before, but unfortunately, it's not. So I called this move and I told her to do it, and she did it, and unfortunately my neck wasn't strong enough and it snapped all the way back. Number 5, Tyson Kidd. Injuries can happen at any time in pro wrestling, and when Tyson Kidd and Samoa Joe competed in a dark match in 2015, it unfortunately ended up being Kidd's final ever WWE matchup. Kid would hurt his neck following a muscle buster, and the injury was so severe that Kid could have legitimately died in the ring. Kid was very much in the prime of his career, and the news hit everyone hard, especially the locker room, as Kid was beloved backstage. Whilst this was incredibly upsetting that Kid wasn't allowed to wrestle again, WWE did offer him a job as a producer, and this has been a role in which Kid has excelled in for almost a decade. Number 4, Rick Rude. When Rick Rude pinned Sting on May 1st, 1994 to win the WCW International World title, nobody could have known that this would be Rude's second to last match. During the match, Rude hurt his back. The back injury occurred when he received a dive at ringside and he landed awkwardly on the corner of the raised platform. The injury caused such a problem for Rude that he had no choice to retire, which was a huge blow for the wrestling industry, as Rude was just 35 years old and had years left before he called it a day in the ring. Number 3, Droz. 1999 saw Droz compete in his final ever wrestling match. During a match against D'Lo Brown, Droz injured his neck after a botched powerbomb, and the damage was so substantial that it caused him to become a quadriplegic. Naturally, his in-ring career ended immediately, and it was one of the darkest days in WWE history, as Droz had still so much to offer in the wrestling world. In relation to D'Lo, he kept a friendship with Droz, and this is what D'Lo had to say about the dreaded incident back in a shoot interview in 2014.
Droz and I have talked about it on several occasions. We don't know what went wrong. Out of respect, we don't watch the tape. I can clear up a few misnomers. It wasn't a fan throwing ice in the ring or throwing garbage in the ring. I didn't slip. It was just, and it could have been anybody in the ring with him that night. It just happened to be me. It happened to be my sad misfortune to be in the ring with him. And because of that, a man's paralyzed. People ask me all the time, does that affect me? Hell yeah. If it didn't, I wouldn't be human.
Number 2, Sting. The icon Sting finally arriving in WWE was an exciting time, and at the Night of Champions event in 2015, Sting collided with Seth Rollins in a match for the WWE World title. Sting's performance in the match was tremendous. That was until he was hit by a buckle bomb from Rollins and everything fell apart. Sting suffered a devastating neck injury, and the injury resulted in Sting's WWE in-ring career coming to an end. It was ultimately a freak accident, and Sting placed no blame whatsoever on Rollins. The WWE Hall of Famer would reflect on the injury during an interview with Bill Apter, and this is what he had to say.
He did nothing. No fault whatsoever. And then what do I have to say about Seth? I mean, he dressed up like me for Halloween. I mean, I'm flattered, I have bragging rights. This was my last match against one of the greatest, really. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers. He is extremely talented in the ring and very easy. He's just a pleasure to work with in every way, and so accommodating, so respectful. So, he just wanted to make it right, and so did I. And, to say that I had my last match with WWE for the world title against Seth Rollins, I'm bragging. This is good. And I'm glad that I can say that I went out like that.
Luckily for fans of the Stinger, a number of years after his initial WWE retirement, he would be able to have several featured matches in AEW, and he was allowed to retire on his own terms. And number 1, Bret Hart. By the time WCW were about to enter the new millennium, Bret Hart was still firing on all cylinders. Yes, the WCW booking was atrocious, and yes, it was evident that the end was approaching for WCW. Yet Hart was showing the world virtually every week that he was one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. The 1999 Starrcade event was headlined by Hart defending his world title against Goldberg, and this match is infamous as it saw Goldberg deliver a stiff mule kick to Hart's head, and this kick would ultimately end Hart's iconic career. In his autobiography, Hitman: My Real Life in the Cartoon World of Wrestling, Hart discussed the incident in the matchup. I fired Goldberg into the ropes and he reversed me. I heard him call, "Watch the kick." I had no idea what kind of kick he meant, and there wasn't much room coming off the ropes. Goldberg's right foot flew just under my right hand.
Oh,
wow.
So he told
It felt
him.
like someone shot me with a hockey stick. It was an agonizing blow that sent me crashing to the mat, where I lay holding my neck just behind my right ear at the base of my skull. The botched mule kick gave Hart a severe concussion. Unaware of the severity of the concussion, Hart continued to compete in matches following the Starrcade pay-per-view, which of course made things much worse. He would later be diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome, and he was eventually forced to retire from wrestling. Hart continues to hold resentment towards Goldberg, and it's easy to see why, as Hart's career was cut short due to utter incompetence. But there you have it, folks.
So Goldberg communicated what he was going to do next, but he didn't know exactly what. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, there are a lot of like neck injuries, spine injuries, you know, head injuries. I don't blame anybody for not wanting to come back. You know, I'll do commentary. I'll do some stuff in the back. You know what I'm saying? I'll announce. I'll do everything, like, cause that's scary. Like, you could be paralyzed. You know, that can change your life. So, you know, I don't really blame anybody for not coming back. We would love to see them come back. We would love to see Big E and, you know, everybody come back and continue. But if you choose not to, I ain't got nothing but respect for that. Because I do not want to see anybody get hurt and like just their life change from an injury. And it's so scary. Like I said, like you got to put a lot of trust in the other performer, because it's like they could be so like in the moment or whatever that they end up hurting you, like a botched suplex, or you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is so scary. But leave some comments down below, you guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one. Toodles.